Hey there, fellow thrill seekers and horror enthusiasts. Welcome to Enigma Chronicles, where we dive deep into the darkest corners of the internet to bring you the most bone-chilling tales. Today, we're exploring 5 disturbing true stories found on Reddit's Let's Not Meet. These aren't your typical campfire stories. These are real encounters that'll make you think twice about trusting strangers. So, grab your blanket, lock your doors, and let's begin. Our first story comes from a user who was home alone one night. They heard strange noises coming from their attic, but brushed it off as the house settling. Days later, they discovered food missing from their kitchen. It was until they found muddy footprints leading to the attic that they realized someone had been living up there for weeks. The police found a makeshift bed and personal belongings. The intruder was never caught, leaving our narrator wondering if they're still out there, watching and waiting. Moving on to our second tale, a college student shared her experience of being followed home from a late-night study session. She noticed a car tailing her for miles, even as she took random turns to lose them. When she finally reached her apartment complex, the car pulled up beside her. The driver, a middle-aged man, smiled and said, "I just wanted to make sure you got home safe." He drove off, leaving her shaken and questioning his true intentions. Our third story takes us to a remote hiking trail. 2 friends decided to camp overnight, but their peaceful getaway turned into a nightmare when they heard whispers and footsteps circling their tent. They stayed silent, paralyzed with fear. In the morning, they found their campsite surrounded by dozens of small stick figures hanging from the trees. They never returned to those woods again. The fourth account comes from a night shift worker at a 24-hour diner. One slow night, a disheveled man stumbled in, covered in dirt and scratches. He ordered coffee and sat silently for hours. When the worker approached him, the man looked up with tears in his eyes and whispered, "I didn't mean to do it. They made me." He left abruptly, leaving behind a crumpled napkin with coordinates scribbled on it. The police later found a shallow grave at that location. Our final story is perhaps the most chilling. A woman recounted her experience of waking up in the middle of the night to find a stranger standing in her bedroom doorway. She froze, pretending to be asleep. The intruder slowly approached her bed, stood there for what felt like an eternity, then left. The next morning, she found a Polaroid picture of herself sleeping on her kitchen table. The incident was never solved, leaving her to wonder how many times this had happened before she caught the intruder. These stories serve as a stark reminder that sometimes truth is indeed stranger and scarier than fiction. They make us question our safety, our trust in others, and the thin veil between normalcy and terror. If you've made it this far without checking over your shoulder, I commend your bravery. But remember, these aren't just stories. They're real experiences that have left lasting impacts on those involved. Before we wrap up, I have a challenge for you. If you dare share your own unsettling encounters in the comments below, who knows, your story might be featured in our next video. And if you're brave enough to want more of these spine-tingling tales, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we have in store for you. Remember, not all monsters are imaginary, and not all dangers are obvious. Stay vigilant, trust your instincts, and always be aware of your surroundings. Until next time, this is Enigma Chronicles, reminding you that sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that are true. Sleep tight, and don't let the bedbugs or anything else